You're listening to the Night Demon Network. Go to nightdemon.net/subscriber to unlock more exclusive content.
Night Demon album, Curse of the Damned. It's axe-wielding Eugene!
Eugene!
Take him home. Scare your parents, but don't let him out of your sight.
Thanks, Rocky!
Night Demon and Car of the Five. Available online and at your local independent toy retailer.
Hello and welcome to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. I'm your host, Nesbit. So, axe-wielding Eugene. You might have seen the commercial we just heard on YouTube or Facebook or wherever. It's pretty cool. It's like an 80s style toy commercial. Created by Sean Vanek. He did the commercial for the action figure. You also might know him from Midnight. Jarvis had a chat with him about all things action figures, commercials, and of course, Eugene himself. Enjoy.
Eugene, the shadow figure. So obviously, we've never debuted Eugene in a live setting, but it's a perfect time to bring him out during these 10th anniversary shows, especially since he has now been idolized into an action figure. Really, really, really cool. It's cool to join the ranks of, the King Diamonds and the Iron Maidens with Eddie and all that, and have an action figure of one of our mascots. Even though Eugene is kind of he's pretty much just like specific to the Curse of the Damned record, with this 10th anniversary thing. He's gotten a little more limelight, a little more action out there. So, yeah, as far as I know, again, this is what I've heard from the lore of the legend of the band, before I was in the band, that this was a sort of a comic book sort of thing that somebody came up with, and the Eugene character was the pivotal, the killer, the shadowy kind of figure guy. It's kind of like a night demon, if you know what the night demon thing stands for, or the lore of that, going into like sleep apnea and shit like that. I've heard that, people seeing Eugene come on stage reminded them of that, experience. So, yeah, it's cool to have a fucking action figure of that dude. It's pretty cool. Good to have it, and look for it in stores. I hope we really get it out there. That's kind of the idea. Maybe we can get into some, kind of looking into getting into some of the toy conventions or that whole world and bring a little bit of heavy metal to them, which I think would be something new and something cool that we could maybe break into and give get some new fans and new followers that are into the lore and all that goes with heavy metal to kind of join up with what we're doing.
How fucking cool is it that Night Demon is now entering the action figure world? Me personally, I have lots of action figures, and I love figures and collectible stuff like that. And to be a part of a band that's now entering that world is just super cool to me. So I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to see the Eugene action figure in person, and I hope we get to do more characters, maybe even the band members. We'll see if there's a demand for that, but no, I'm really, really excited for the Eugene action figure, and I hope we get a Rocky one, and we get lots more to come as well, so we'll see.
All right, Sean Vanek, what's going on? How you doing?
Jarvis, what is up? I'm good, man.
Just talking about some action figures, some wild ass shit that we're doing.
What conversations, man? Like the text back and forth about like these things jumping around, a tiny little guy chasing me or something. You know what I mean? It's just wild.
I know, right? So yeah, okay. So yeah, we've known each other for a long time. You played guitar for Midnight Forever. We've toured together. We're going to be playing together at the Rock Hall. You're playing with Sacred Few as the Sandy Kruger tribute, and so we're old bros. But I remember. I don't know, within the last couple of years, you telling me that you've been working on this kind of like animation stuff and getting into like this kind of like into the digital creator realm using like hybrid techniques of filming, animation, all kinds of stuff. And when you came out with the last Vanek record, your last solo record, you had this commercial with your kids in it where like you had this like evil spoon. You made like a cereal box, right? And you had like this evil spoon kind of go into your son's mouth, and he puked out all this stuff, and it was super awesome. And I remember you were telling me that you were doing this stuff, and I thought, man, you know what? One of these days we're going to do an action figure line, and it'd be great if you did a commercial. So that time has finally come, and here we are.
I think I remember you mentioning it. We were on the road because we're always talking about novelty, things like from back in the day. And I was talking about the cassette, like the Halloween cassettes or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, we had that conversation, I think. But no, it's super cool because when you messaged me, I'm like, yes, dude, I'm totally down. I mean, that's right up my alley.
Yeah. And so the interesting thing was like, okay, at the time I was watching a lot, like you can go on YouTube, right? And you can look at like just a full playlist of like every action figure commercial from like the 80s and 90s. And some of them are fucking wild. Like I forgot like how crazy some of them are. Like, I mean, there's like high production value in some of these things, right? And it's like back then you didn't have any digital techniques really. So a lot of this stuff was just done with stop motion. You had child actors, you had like people were actually building sets. It was pretty crazy stuff, right? And showing the action figures in action and stuff. And so I kind of took a little bit of inspiration from that. You came up with your own script, and then that kind of gave me a better idea. And then we kind of just fine-tuned it from there. And it was a I feel like the development of it was very fast, but it was a very smooth process, right?
Yeah, dude, without a doubt. Well, it's cool because we can talk back and forth with ideas without getting pissed off at each other. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's a reasonable idea. Okay. And we tried some things out. I know there were a couple things that we wanted to do, like with the blood and stuff, and we did those. We did record that. We could put out like a B-side.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, no,
man, I would love to see that. I
didn't like we put it in there, and I'm like, I don't see how it. I mean, again, not to say it was a spectacular story, but I mean, it just didn't work right, I guess.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I would love to see that, and probably for our subscribers, they'd like to see that on the cutting room floor,
Let's do it.
Basically the process of doing this was after we had kind of come up with that, it was like we had a due date and you had a certain window of when you could do it. And so it was like, all right, let's get this done. So we had Brian send you, he had the Rocky costume. He sent it to you from Florida. I was in Ireland, and I wanted to send you one of the glow-in-the-dark Curse of the Damned LPs. I had that shipped to you from Texas, and both of those packages mysteriously arrived on your doorstep at the very same time, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah. And it was like, I think, so we shot it that Saturday, and I think it was there Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I hope this gets here, because Tim, who my film partner, Tim Holzinger, everybody, great dude. But he came up from Fort Wayne, and he was coming on Saturday. So yeah, I did show up, and yeah, when do I have to ship that back, by the way? Do you guys have any shows? I mean, you guys play all the time.
Well, we've got you since we're doing Curse of the Damned stuff. We've got Eugene coming out on stage instead of Rocky. We've got a whole new scheme going on.
Oh, nice!
So I will pick that up from you when I see you at the Rock Hall in Cleveland in August.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be kick ass.
It's pretty cool. Sean from Ghoul made the costume, so it's rad, man. It's gonna be really good. But
who did Rocky?
Our friend Nelson Cooper. He works on a lot of films. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Face Off. It's a visual effects competition show on like Discovery. He won that competition. So he was a winner of that one year.
It's a very, very well. I mean, it's a great mask. Perfect. I love it.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm excited to see what this Eugene mask looks like because, I've seen some photos of it and it looks actually, I want to say maybe even better than the Rocky one, but we'll see,
Nice.
But anyway, yeah. So you're filming this thing, right? Like, take us through the steps of how you do this. Did you film this in sequence?
No. So what we did is, like, since we came up a good outline of the story, we just pretty much the key to this and the way we do things is getting the perspectives right. So we have to kind of write down it's over the shoulder shot, or it's a far shot coming from the side, or whatever.
You make a shot list, right?
Yeah, shot list, a total shot list, and then we'll just section off. Like in my garage, I have this truss set up, and I have the overhead beams. And I just staple green tarp around it, and I build a set within the green screen area. And then, we kind of do a hybrid type of setup, so we can do different lighting effects and things like that.
So are you storyboarding stuff, or are you just making a shot list and saying, here's the general idea of what we're trying to do, and then once you get the camera up, you kind of have the look?
Shot list a lot. Sometimes I'll sketch things, like I'll draw it, like, just on a piece of paper, just a quick little scribble, and use that. But normally I can just write it down. And
because everything changes once you're looking through the viewfinder of a camera.
Yep.
You're like, okay, yeah, I see how that looks. Or there's, the blocking might not be right, and there's some shadows being cast somewhere or something. Or, I don't know if you've ever used mirrors or anything. Like, things get tricky, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is the thing. Like, because a lot of, and that's, halfway through the story, there were things that we added, and there's stuff that we subtracted. That was pretty much due to that, going there, looking at the camera once it's set up and saying, you know what, that didn't turn out how I thought it would be. So we'll just adjust this a little bit. Like with the table, we adjusted some things, but I tried to keep everything in the right orientation as the cover was.
Right, right.
So I don't know, like if you saw the front, I actually had the dagger. It looked very, very close to the one on the cover.
Right.
I think it was a bayonet, actually.
The shitty thing is, like, I was in Ireland when this all went down, and actually at home in Ventura, I have in a box something that I put away 10 years ago. I actually have like a dagger, a book, the skull, like everything that looks just like it does on the cover. So I was like, man, I wish I could ship him those physical items, but dude, you totally pulled it off. Like,
yeah. Cool. Thanks.
And that's a thing where, like, it's such a short commercial. It's under 40 seconds. And like, I think, like, upon repeat views, people will realize more and more of what's going on in there, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to tell a story in 30 seconds. You know what I mean?
Dude, totally. I mean, it's at least we're able to have some dialogue, you know, but
yeah.
And also, if you have no idea who Rocky is, you're like, well, that's random, but like, but who cares? I mean, like, that's the next. We've already got those action figures, you know, ready to go for production. So that'll happen again. And it's whatever. It's for the fans, man.
Make a series, make a cartoon series.
Yeah, it's Super Friends, not even Super Friends.
So like Tim and I are like all of this is we're just pretty much reading into stuff. And he took a class and learned a bunch of things. And I mean, he works with a lot of people. He's worked, I don't know, at Hyde Park and everything. And,
oh, no shit.
Yeah, so it's just you know, we're learning all this new technology, and you know, and it's been a blast. You know, I do 3D modeling, so I've worked with SolidWorks, Blender, and a couple other programs just to kind of work with the 3D models so we can animate it in Unreal.
So when you do 3D modeling, with those files, would you be able to like 3D print something?
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. That's incredible.
STL file, I think, or I don't know.
Right. So when we were developing the action figure, that was one of the steps that one of our artists had to do. It was a woman named Tessa who works at Super 7, and that's kind of what she does in order so that, you know, the factory can make the mold, right?
Yep.
So one interesting thing that nobody knows that we have to break open here, and I want you to explain this. Here, this is the coolest thing about the behind the scenes production of this commercial. You did not have an action figure with you.
Nope. I know, and it was so tricky because I had a couple ideas of I'm going to take a G.I. Joe or like an army figure who's all green and like hold it and then maybe replace it or do something. But then I'm like, you know what, dude, I'm just going to quickly put I didn't like spend a lot of time with the model, but I modeled it. And I'm like, you know what? It's kind of funny because I mean, we could do like the cheesy, like slow motion, like flipping through the air and like.
Right. Like I basically sent you photographs that I got from China of the test figure, and you just had to use those photographs to put all this together. And when you watch this thing, like it is so realistic, like it's even for me, I'm just like, I have to remind myself that there's no action figure there in that shoot.
Yeah
you know,
and with the packaging, like, you know, the Photoshop of the blister card and everything was great too.
Right.
That was all those not real, you know.
Yeah, and so we did get lucky because the test figure did come eventually, right? So we had to, it's kind of like a record, like you get a test pressing, and before they make thousands of these things, right? You're like, hey, is this right? You know? And luckily it came back pretty much identical, you know? So
it wasn't like Spinal Tap. It was like the size of an eraser.
Yeah. What were those? Muscle? Remember those little?
Yeah,
like those.
God damn, dude.
But yeah. So I mean, that was wild. Can you explain at all? Is there a way to explain how you were able to do that and like make him flip through the air like that?
Well, that you just like once you have the 3D model of it, you put it in like a 3D space. So it's like, you know, you have the X, Y pad, you know what I mean? So he can
Right.
move forward, sideways, up and
Right.
down. So basically, once you have the model and you put it in there, in the program has a camera. So you just basically take the model and kind of animate it flipping and flipping and just, you know, record it through the lens of inside Unreal or Blender or whatever.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, I use Tim is the guru with Unreal. I use Blender just to kind of get some test stuff. I'll try things out, get colors, and I can actually build part of the set within Blender, and then I'll send him a file, and then he'll take that and then totally, you know, make it look way better.
Gotcha. That's cool, man. One thing that I at first was like, oh no, like there was kind of like a blooper in there, but actually it just kind of adds to the overall over the top cheesiness that this whole thing is anyway. That like so hold on. So you played Rocky, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and those are your kids,
Yep.
Nico and Joni. Those are your kids in the commercial, who are perfect, by the way. They did a really good
Thanks.
job.
They did.
But when you save the day and grab the Eugene action figure from basically killing them, and they give you a big hug and say, "Thanks, Rocky," you didn't tie the hood with the string. So like the string is hanging down and it's hitting your daughter in the face.
Oh, is it? I didn't notice.
Oh, I thought you did that on purpose.
Damn.
No, it's cool though. It's totally cool. It's totally
Dude,
cool.
it was so funny because I know how that costume goes on. I've worn it on tour before,
Right,
you know?
right.
But I was like trying to explain it. I couldn't see it. We didn't have a mirror in the garage. You know, we were just kind of doing it like with the kids. That's the thing. It's like, all right, you got this much time. Don't slow down. Just get everything done. You get one
Right.
after another. So we're just kind of bam, bam, bam with the shots. All right, we're
Right.
good. Get out of here. You
Right.
know?
And so did you overdub their voices?
Yeah.
That's awesome because you could tell like when their mouths aren't moving really when they're saying thanks, Rocky. Like it's like again, it adds to the overall campiness of this, and that's what I really, really like.
I'm glad you get it, man.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
totally. We're
Because
totally on
when
the same page.
It's so easy to like, let's get it perfect and let's make it like, you know, it's part of the comedy, you know. I mean, that's what it's
Absolutely.
about. It's just I don't know.
Look, if the look and the vibe are right, because I mean, you do something like spectacular where, okay, they're in this dungeon, right? They go and they play this record, and then all of a sudden there's this like swirling black hole around the center label, and then the action figure that doesn't even really exist in this shoot jumps out and does these crazy flips in the air and lands, and then the eyes light up red. Like that alone, production value is like anything that happens after that, like who cares? You're not even like you've already made the impression that like, wow, this is something amazing, right? So that's the idea.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought like Eugene, you know, he's like the superhero. You know, let's make him like once he hits the screen, he's like larger than life. Even though it's this little tiny figure, he looks like, you know, his eyes glow up. He's got an axe in his hand. He's flipping through the friggin' air. You know?
Yeah. It's
So I just wanted to make sure, like within 30 seconds, how can we make this heroic Eugene guy? But how can we make it look funny and cool at the same time?
Right. So when you say green, right? So what you're doing basically is you're setting up green screen walls so that the camera doesn't pick that up, so you can replace that with imagery, which you did with like these stone dungeon walls, right?
Yes.
So when they walk up to when the commercial starts, they walk up to the altar where you have the artifacts from the album cover and then the record player, right? So when you film, are you filming the scene with the kids and Rocky in the same spot? You're just removing that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have the kids walking, you know, the table's not there or anything. And
Right.
we'll put the table in there after, because it's actually a 3D space. It's not a backdrop.
Right.
They're moving within like a world,
Right.
essentially.
Right.
So we'll just, we'll put the table in after the fact. But they're
But
just
it's still,
walking.
but so you're shooting against a backdrop in one perspective in all the scenes, right?
Yeah.
So that's amazing because what it looks like is they're walking into a space, they see something in a space, something happens, they turn around, something else happens, they run to the other side and something happens. And really all this is happening behind one wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a job done right, right? Like that's, you know, when some people want to film stuff, you know, everybody films things nowadays, right? Everybody has their phone, they're constantly filming.
Oh yeah.
And when they want to set something up, if they're doing a TikTok or whatever, they might not consider the fact that, like, you know, what you see on camera isn't always a full three-dimensional space, a 360 three-dimensional space, right? So it's like, you know, and it's like that's the art of filmmaking, right? It's like you have your backdrop and you change what's in it and you change perspectives on the same backdrop and you can make it look like there's a whole lot more going on there, you know?
Yeah, and it's great because, within that space, it's all around. Like, in fact, my original idea was, you know, they're walking down, so the first shot's shining on their back, and then the next shot would have been their faces, you know, to get the reaction, but behind them is a stairway walking down into some kind of dungeon or cellar or whatever. Right. And I wanted to show that. Like, I wanted to show, like, a light shining down with smoke or something like that. But, you know, again, with it being so quick, like 30 seconds, you don't have time to show all this extra stuff. So, but yeah.
And you know what? As cool as that sounds, right? I don't think it's needed. And there is a key phrase in filmmaking, and it's called get in late and leave early. You know what I mean? So it's kind of already implied that they went down into some dungeon without seeing the stairwell. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
So you did a good job of painting that picture anyway, and it didn't really matter how they got there. The fact is that they were there. You know?
Yeah.
Awesome.
But hey, man, I'm glad you appreciate it, dude. I mean,
come on. Fuck. I love it, man. I'm looking forward. We got to do some more stuff, you know.
We could talk hours on a 30-second commercial, you know what I mean? I mean, it's funny, though, because there's so many details that you can explain, but it would take a lot more time to explain it than it were if you were to just watch it really quick, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's kind of like why I wanted to get you on the podcast real quick, just because, you know, people see things nowadays, and you know, with everything that's happening with AI now, you know, which AI is going to prove itself, I'm sure, to be like an amazing tool that every human being is going to end up integrating into their lives. But at the same time, it's like guys like us who grew up in an analog world and then switched over to the digital world and are adapting to that. Like, we still have an appreciation for a lot of like realism and old school techniques and looks. So to be able to combine that with some modern technology is the way to do it. And I just kind of wanted to let our fans inside on, you know, kind of how this stuff is made and how much work actually really goes into this, you know.
Ton of work, but man, it's so convenient now. It's just like back in the day, even with recording, it was difficult. You know what I mean? You had you had a lot of parts, and you had more people involved. You needed a guy at the tape machine, you needed a guy at the desk, you needed guys paying attention to one thing. You know, now it's just one guy in front of a computer, and same with the film stuff. You can film things on your phone that look absolutely stunning, like Terminator 2 quality pretty much on an iPhone. Yeah. I mean, it's wild.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool in some kind of way. Sometimes it's like, oh shit, we're fucked, you know? But like, sometimes it's like, oh, cool, I can make this video really quick of this idea I have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many things that I miss about the analog world and analog quality, certain things about tape, whether you're talking about music or film. But, you know, I mean, it is what it is. And if you can use the modern conveniences and the technology, but keep your ideas somewhat original and, you know, kind of put your own flavor into it, I think it all kind of works out, man.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Yeah. All right, dude. Well, thanks so much for doing this and for catching up. And I'm sure people are going to be stoked to hear about how this whole thing went down, you know?
Well, that's it for this week. Nightdemon.net for info on the Eugene action figure. It's super cool. Check out YouTube for the Eugene action figure commercial that we were talking about. Subscribers can watch the video of this interview in the subscriber section. Also, behind the scenes pictures from the shoot for this commercial. Nightdemon.net for info on becoming a subscriber and getting access to all this cool content. CurseDam.com for everything Curse of the Dam 10th anniversary. Until next week, this is Nesbitt signing off.
Thanks for listening to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. Head over to nightdemon.net, click on the subscriber tab, and sign up to access exclusive weekly bonus content. If you would like to donate to support the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast, you can do so through PayPal at paypal.me/nightdemonmetal. Additionally, if you have not already done so, please subscribe, like, rate, and review the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All hail, Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast listeners. This is Dusty Squires chiming in to tell you about my brand new signature sticks from the London Drumstick Company. I've dreamt of having my very own drumsticks ever since I was a wee lad, and LDC made that a possibility for me. Founded in 2016 in London, England, the birthplace of heavy metal, the London Drumstick Company has trailblazed a path through the music industry and taken the drummer world by storm. When I met them for the first time, they knew their product was going to withstand the beatings of a Night Demon show. They took the time to work with me on getting everything just right. The balance and weight of my sticks are the same no matter what, and the durability is bar none the best I've ever had. I know my sticks will last through the set night after night. I'm truly honored to work with a company that caters to their players the way LDC does. Their innovation and attention to detail is what separates them from the rest of the stick makers out there. Their custom stick sleeves are unbelievable and really make the entire presentation complete. Wait until you see the design they came up with for me. It blew my mind and was a surprise to say the least. They have all kinds of amazing swag, including hoodies, t-shirts, drummer shorts, drum keys, stick bags, towels, face masks, practice pads, and much, much more. Even if you're not a drummer, you can be a part of Demon history and order my brand new signature sticks direct from their website. How cool is that? And to top it off, the London Drumstick Company are giving an exclusive offer to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast listeners. Go to londondrumsticks.co.uk and receive a 15% store-wide discount using promo code DEMONSTICKS. All capital letters, no spaces, Demon Sticks. DEMONSTICKS. I can't thank everyone there enough for the opportunity to be a part of their family and for them trusting me with their amazing products. See you metal maniacs on the road very soon. And yes, the wood chips will be flying.
Greetings, boils and ghouls. This is your comrade, the Crypt Keeper here, reporting dead from the sanctuary of the strange. Tonight's macabre myth is a fright-filled feature, one overflowing with monsters, madness, and magic.
Visit our website at monstersmadnessandmagic.com to stay up to date on all the dark dealings within the sanctuary of the strange. Enjoy the show.
Hey Metalheads, I'm Mark and I host the Metal Forge. Let me tell you about the show. The Metal Forge features the best underground metal from all over the world. We spend every week with a different artist with interviews, in-depth conversations, and most of all, the music. We also feature audience interactivity where you can submit your questions to the upcoming guests. New episodes are out every Friday at noon Eastern Time at metalforgeradio.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Want to know what's going on in the world of music? Then tune in to the Nothing Shocking Podcast, a non-genre based, all-ages friendly rock and roll program. Join us weekly for interviews with all your favorite rock stars from the mainstream to the underground. You can find us at nothingshocking.libsyn.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
Okay, metalheads, you've been complaining that there has not been a channel that plays all of the heavy metal videos from past, present, and future for years and years at this point. Well, that time is over. Heavy Metal Television is back. HeavyMetalTelevision.net is the website. Go there. You can see videos playing 24/7, 365, all the time, all the best from the old school, the new school, and everything in between. Check it out, HeavyMetalTelevision.net. It is where the metal is.